Welcome to the TV and Movie Review Show, bringing you a review on the latest TV shows and movies. So let's jump into it. Hope you enjoy the show.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. I'm your host, Jazzy929, and today I'm going to be reviewing the show Outsiders. It airs on HBO. It comes on Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Be sure to check that out. It's pretty good. I rated a 10 on a scale to 1 to 10. It most definitely is a 10. I really enjoyed the first episode. I'm enjoying the acting in the show. I am a big Stephen King fan, so when I had found out that this movie was associated with Stephen King, it has his name on it, then most definitely I wanted to watch it. I'm not one that usually reads the books. Here and there I might. I have to admit, I only read like 2 Stephen King books in my life. But, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to the shows, I most definitely watch it. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and jump into the review. Feel free to go ahead and give me your feedback about this review. Also, the show under this episode. Also, you can go to my Facebook page and leave your comments there. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and jump into my review. This is the second episode. We see in the beginning of this episode, Anderson visits Terry. He asks Terry about the van. Terry explains that he does not know anything about this van. Terry says that he's been in New York, but he hasn't been there since his honeymoon. We find out that the van has van has New York plates. We find out that the cop which is Anderson, has no understanding of how his proof shows one thing and it's not making sense. We see that Terry tells the cops that he only approved his son's baseball game. He never touched the boy, had no ill intents towards this little boy. He just wanted to make this boy better. So if he touched the boy, he only touched the boy in a way that would improve this boy in a positive way. We see that Terry goes to court. During this time that he goes to court, we see that Peterson's son shoots everyone, and as Terry is walking into court, we see that the Peterson son actually gets shot in the head and passes away. We see that Terry actually got shot in the neck. We see that Terry tells Anderson that he didn't do it. And during this time, we glance over and we see that the guy from the previous episode, the hooded figured man, is there. And this is what I got, everybody. I hope y'all viewed it too, if y'all was able to view his face during this episode. He is disformed. His face is deformed. We see that Anderson gets checked out at the hospital. We find out that he only has high blood pressure. He also has issues with his cholesterol. The doctor tells him to go ahead and calm down in a dark room and get some rest to make his blood pressure go down. We see that Jack, the police captain, is hunting, you know what I'm saying, for hogs in the woods, and he gets a text saying he needs to come back to the headquarters ASAP. He didn't seem happy about that whole situation right there. We see that Anderson takes a leave for 2 weeks. Anderson sees now that we see that Anderson sees now that arresting Terry in front of everyone at that baseball game in the last episode wasn't a good idea. We see that Anderson traces the van somehow back to Ohio. What happened was, we find out in this episode that there was a young man that stole the van from New York and it ended up in Ohio. And from Ohio, it ended up where they are. You know what I'm saying? Terry's daughter, we see in this episode, again, just like we seen in the last episode, she is seeing a man. She's yelling to her mom that this man is there and he is telling her bad things about her father. At that time, the mom thinks that she's dreaming. The paper on the van, we find out, you know what I'm saying, had an animal's head on it, and it also had words on it. We find out that the Peterson, Frankie Peterson's father, is so traumatized, you know what I'm saying, by everything that's gone on with his wife and his son, that he ends up hanging himself. We see him hang himself, swing up out of the window shatters, and there's a passerby that is jogging, it looked like, you know what I'm saying, and she tries to go inside and help him. During this time, if you glance over, you see that the hooded figure is still he's standing over there. And the camera, you know what I'm saying, stays with him for a little while, and then he walks away. I want to put out there, when I seen that, it gave me the Michael Myers feel. When I seen that, you know what I'm saying, that's the only thing I could think about was, you know, Michael Myers, you know, scenes from Michael Myers and Michael Myers standing in yards and stuff. I thought that was pretty cool, everybody. I most definitely liked that, the way they did that. But as I said, he walked away. So we have a figure, you know what I'm saying, which is a man with a deformed face that keeps popping up, you know what I'm saying. That's pretty strange. We see Terry's family once went to Ohio on a family trip to see his father, which is in a nursing home. During that time, I'll talk about that in just a minute, when he was at the nursing home. Okay. We see the guy Jack, which is the police captain, he gets in a fight at a bar. We see that Anderson goes to check out the paper that was found in a van. We find out that that paper traces back to a restaurant. It was called Hungry Q Restaurant, and it was located in Dayton, Ohio. This is where the Fed, you know what I'm saying, was located, you know what I'm saying, before it got to the park. The boy had stolen it. We found out earlier that the boy had stolen it, and the boy, you know what I'm saying, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the boy actually got the van from Ohio. That's where he stole it from, if I'm not mistaken. We see the daughter, not the daughter, the first daughter we see, you know what I'm saying, because Terry has two children. Not the daughter that has been seeing a man, but his second daughter, you know what I'm saying, tells the detective Anderson, no, I'm sorry, the first daughter, the first daughter comes to tell her mother that she was frightened. You know what I'm saying? She went to her mom's room and told her mom she was frightened by the man again. And we see that there's wet footprints outside of her room, the mother's room. We see that Freaky's dad is in a coma. They ask the young man that stole the van about the van. He says he's seen folks, you know what I'm saying, in that city, you know what I'm saying, where the van was. He stopped at a gas station, and everybody that he came across had crosses, you know what I'm saying, on their forehead. You know what I'm saying? That was weird. Cops says the cop Anderson, he apologizes to Terry's wife and asks her if she can help him clear her husband's name. We see that Terry's daughter says her father was cut while he was on a trip at the nursing home in Ohio visiting his father. She expresses that her dad told her that he bumped into a nurse, and the nurse fell on the ground, and Terry helped him up. And when he helped him up, when he got to the hotel and whatnot, he noticed that he had been cut. We see that she also expresses that the restaurant was in a mall. The Hungry Q restaurant was in a mall across the street from, I'm assuming, their hotel when they was in Ohio visiting Terry's father. We see Terry's clothes at the end of this episode shows up at the DA's barn with something on it, something that looked like liquid, some type of liquid of some kind. And he actually, you know what I'm saying, finds it or whatnot in his barn. The clothes are just sitting there. I want to know, just like I'm pretty sure everybody else, you know what I'm saying, that watched this episode wants to know, how these clothes show up, you know what I'm saying, what's going to be the outcome of this whole situation. That was all I got from this episode. I really do like the show. I'm going to most definitely continue watching it. I want to know if y'all will too. If you had to rate this show from 1 to 10, what would you rate this? I also want to put out there that after the show, it showed a trailer of what was going to be coming to the show. And I saw one scene where we seen kids with animal masks on. And that right there made me think of Pet Cemetery. I want to know if anybody else, you know what I'm saying, seen that. And did you get that feel? That's something that I caught. And we see that the show is pretty creepy. That's what I got out of it. The way of the show is very creepy. I'm really loving it. And like I said before, the acting is great. If you would like to know about the actors, feel free to look as far as who the actors are playing in this show. Feel free to look in my description box, and it will be in there. With that being said, that's just about all. I'm going to go ahead and close out. Until next time, thank you all for listening.
Find Talking Out Loud with Jazzy 929 at Spreaker, Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Google Podcast, Castbox, Deezer, Soundcloud, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Find merch at Redbubble. Hi, Royal.